Hello, friends and colleagues. Welcome to this introductory video on criminal law in Ghana. What is criminal law? Well, to set the ball rolling for this interesting discussion on criminal law, we call to mind a very profound statement that was made by arguably one of the greatest philosophers in the development of the law, Sir Jeremy Bentham. Let's listen and pay attention to what Jeremy Bentham said. We come now to the principal object of law, the care of security. That inestimable good, the distinctive index of civilization, is entirely the work of law. Without law, there is no security, and consequently, no abundance, and not even a certainty of subsistence. And the only equality which can exist in such a state of things is an equality of misery. That was a beautiful statement from Sir Jeremy Bentham. You noticed it? He said that the distinctive index of civilization is entirely the work of the law. And the object of the law, according to the philosopher, is also the care of security of persons. Security. Sir Bentham says that without security, there is no abundance. So, guys, much part of the law is aimed at seeking to protect us, granting us security, the security of you, the security of your friends, the security of your family, and the security of everyone. This sets the wisdom behind criminal law. Because you see, in the 1992 Constitution of Ghana, Article 12, Clause 2, this is what the Constitution 1992 says. Article 12, Clause 2. Every person in Ghana, whatever his race, place of origin, political opinion, color, religion, creed, or gender, shall be entitled to the fundamental human rights and freedoms of the individual contained in this chapter, but subject to the respect for the rights and freedoms of others and for the public interest. So what does the Constitution say under Article 12? Now, the Constitution is saying that individuals have got fundamental human rights and freedoms. There are things that every human being has got the right to enjoy. Now, these rights are inalienable. They are rights that you cannot just take away from a human being because it is a human being we are talking about. The Constitution is saying that these have got to be protected. Your human rights and the rights that you may enjoy, it is also subject to the rights of other people. So guys, let's take, for example, some of the rights we are talking about. We are talking about the right to live, the right to personal dignity, the right to property, the right to any human right that you can think about. You understand that? All of these things are enshrined in the Constitution 1992. So there has to be a certain instrument that will help us in protecting these kind of rights that human beings enjoy. That instrument, in part, is the instrument of criminal law. So criminal law gives us an opportunity for the human rights of people, of individuals, and also the interests of the public to be communally protected. That is, the resources of the state will be used in coming together to make sure that people can enjoy their rights. And it's in tandem with what Sir Bentham said, that the object of the law is the care of security. So what is the principal object of criminal law? We'll now take cue from what the American penal system had to say about this. Now, when the laws in America were being developed relative to criminal law, this was some of the statements that was made in the object that was designed for criminal law. Let's see what was said there. The American Law Institute's Model Penal Code, when stating the aims of the penal system, said, amongst others, A, to forbid and prevent conduct that unjustifiably and inexcusably inflicts or threatens substantial harm to individual or public interest. You saw that. So this was some of the aims of the penal system as it was being developed in parts of America. And we can say that they are also proper objectives for criminal law in general. So even though we are in Ghana, we can see the sense of how criminal law operates in Ghana as it also relates into the way the aims of the penal system were developed in America. What is he saying? Is that he's saying that the object of criminal law is to forbid and prevent conduct that unjustifiably and inexcusably threaten to inflict harm on individual or personal interest. So, for example, as the Constitution said, under Article 12 and the subsequent Articles 13, we talk about the right to life. Let's take, for example, the right to life. People have got the right to live. You and I, together with your friends and family, we have that natural human right to live. Okay? So if the conduct of an individual is seeking to threaten that right to life, it's seeking to inflict substantial harm and danger to a person's right to life, the state ought to come together as an instrument of safety to protect that and stop it. So criminal law gives us the opportunity of making sure that the harm that someone may have the tendency of inflicting to another person, that is to the person's life or to his property, we use the resources of the state to curtail and stop that. And that is what one of the objects of criminal law seeks to do. Let's look at the second object that was also mentioned as part of the aims of this American penal system. And we also again try to strike the connection in there. The second object. B, it says, to subject to public control persons whose conduct indicates that they are disposed to commit crimes. You saw that. So the second aim was that persons who show, an intent, who show a desire by their conduct that they have an aim of committing crimes, there has to be a mechanism of subjecting those kind of persons to public control. And it said that this is one of the objects of criminal law. So basically, guys, friends and colleagues, when we are talking about criminal law, we can begin to have a sense of what we are looking at under criminal law. The purpose of this video and the subsequent ones that you will see is that we are going to discuss the substantive law of crime. That is, we are going to look at what constitutes a crime and what is not a crime. What are the elements of crime? What makes something a crime? How do we arrive as a society, as a nation, as seeking to impose criminal sanctions on a certain activity? That is what we'll discuss. That will be our focus of our discussions or the video on criminal law. We will not focus much on the procedure. That's the criminal procedure. That will not be much of it, as in how the process of trying to inflict the punishment is meted out by the law. That is criminal procedure. Or how most of these things are proved in the court of law. That's the laws of evidence. We will only do that insofar as this law of evidence and this procedure of crime will seek to help us understand the substantive law of crime. But fundamentally, much of this video will be devoted towards the substantive law of crime. What is crime and what is not? You understand that? So the law that we are going to rely on in the videos that we are going to discuss under criminal law here in Ghana, we'll first again speak about the Constitution. We'll discuss the Constitution. We'll discuss the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, together with its other amendments that has come up ever since the Parent Act was enacted way back in 1960. We'll discuss that. We'll also look at the Criminal Procedure Act. That is the Act 30. Also together with its amendments. We'll also discuss the Law of Evidence. That is the Evidence Decree Act. That was also enacted in 1972. Together, we are going to have all these things helping us to understand the substantive law. I again mentioned that insofar as the Criminal Procedure Act and the Evidence Act will help us in understanding the substantive law of crime, that is the only extent to which we will go with that. We will not delve into details in criminal procedure, nor will we also discuss into details the law of evidence. So basically, these are going to be the rules, the statutes, and law that we are going to rely in our videos as we discuss criminal law in these ones. So now that we've got that, please, again, pay rapt attention, I entreat you, as we go through the series of videos on criminal law. In our next video, we are going to discuss what is crime. What are the elements of crime? How do we determine that this crime or this act should be criminalized and that crime or that act should not be criminalized? What is the difference between civil wrongs and criminal wrongs, or civil liability and criminal liability? What are even the classification of offenses? These and many more we are going to discuss in Lecture 2, Lecture 3, and the subsequent ones. Stay tuned.